In 2011, energy is a big topic for us all. In the UK, we are now a year away from the Green Deal and 9 years away from the first target of the Climate Change Act. These are key dates for the future of UK energy saving. The Green Deal is a government initiative that will enable homeowners to upgrade their properties without having to pay up front. It will be a key component in helping the UK reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 34% by 2020. The Green Deal aims to encourage wider adoption of energy efficiency measures and will allow adopters to pay as they save. The transition will be even easier if we can all easily start saving money now.
Energy efficiency and climate change kind of comes and goes in the media all the time. You'll see it for 2 months on the front pages of newspaper and in every news bulletin, and then it'll just go away again because it's not fashionable for some reason in the media. There's other big stories. The challenge then, and it's a challenge for us, is to really help people know exactly what it is they can do, because they all know that recycling's a good idea. Everybody recycles now. It's just what you do. Everybody knows that you can turn down your thermostat by 1 degree and that will save you money off your energy bill. But it's about really trying to make it tangible and personal for people. So by saying, okay, Mrs. Jones, you've told me some stuff about your house and what you get up to, and we can tell you that by doing these 3 things, you'll be able to save about £250 off your energy bill. And that's typically what people can save in the UK. £250 off your energy bill by making your home more energy efficient and just doing things slightly differently.
The Climate Change Act means that the government is committed to reducing its greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2050. For the individual, this will mean small changes in habits and bigger changes in technology and housing. Between 400,000 and 1.8 million homes will have to be upgraded to make that target manageable. These improvements will involve insulation, alternative heating solutions, and small innovations that will save us money without changing the way we live.
Tata Steel have been going for over 100 years. They provide steel for construction, automotive and engineering and other massive markets worldwide. Very focused on attention to detail, and we're recognised for that attention to detail and being customer focused. Here at Shotton we've actually reduced carbon emissions by 26% over the last 2 years, and we'd be looking to reduce it to 50% over the following 2 years to take us to 2012. We're very focused on achieving these objectives, and it's certainly a target of the whole Tata industry to bring it to those levels. We're looking to have sustainable operations, even more so than we do already. Colourcoat Urban is effectively, it's a 0.7 gauge steel. It's prefabricated, so there's no need to be up and down your roof, seaming the roof. You'd literally just lay one sheet on top of the other, hammer it in, nail it in every 300mm, and your roof would be laid very quickly, as opposed to other products that would require seaming up and down the roof. Flat roof extensions built prior to 1990 had several issues. They weren't getting full planning permission, so as a result you were getting inadequate insulation between the rafters. So this is something that Tata Steel, what we feel at Tata Steel, is that we can provide a solution for that. Colourcoat Urban are very much focused on that, so what we'd look to do is we'd have an existing roof that has no insulation. We'd put maybe 80mm of foam on top of that, then overboard it with an 18mm ply, put a breather membrane on top, and then Colourcoat Urban would go on top of that. What the consumer would then notice is that the home or the extension is much warmer, and there's obviously less draft and just more comfortable to live in.
Insulation, it's not sexy, but it is really important. If you're lucky enough to live in a modern home in the UK, then it will be well insulated already. But most of us in the UK live in older homes that are badly insulated, so that means we're losing a lot of that heat through the walls, through the roof, and through the drafts and the cracks. As well as insulating your walls and your loft, there's also the other parts of the building, so insulating your hot water tank with a nice cosy jacket, insulating the pipework around the boiler, and then there's things like draft proofing around the doors and the windows.
Well, if you work on 80mm of foam being added to the property, that's going to create a U value of about 0.22 watts per metre square. So if you don't know much about U values, it's effectively a measure of heat loss. So the lower the U value, the greater the insulation properties of the material. So the key benefits of Colourcoat Urban are its aesthetics. You know, it's a fantastic looking product. Secondly, I'd say the speed of installation is a really key benefit for consumers, to know that it'll be received and laid within 3 weeks of being ordered, if not sooner. So obviously that's a short distance from energy waste to energy conservation. And finally, probably the most important aspect in terms of energy conservation would be that if it is used with a foam or any kind of insulation, what you'd be looking at is a great overall benefit to the environment, lowering your carbon footprint, and hopefully saving yourself some money on your bills.
One area of the home that is particularly suitable for innovation is heating. For so long now, the home has been heated in the same way and using the same technology, despite obvious weaknesses. Nibby offers a technology that really can help you make a difference.
We're one of Europe's leading manufacturers in the domestic heating field, and we're also Europe's leading manufacturer in heat pump technology. Our headquarters based in Sweden, and we've been around for about 60 years. And our vision is to manufacture world-class products and solutions for the domestic market. Heat pump technology is not a new technology. It's been around for nearly 200 years now, and most domestic homes have a heat pump inside them now, which they don't realise, and that's a domestic fridge. Okay? But what we're using in a heat pump is, instead of using the cold inside the fridge, we're using the heat which is generated from the back of the fridge. Basically, a heat pump works by using compression of a gas. And in simple terms, if you can remember pumping up a bike tyre with a bike pump, you get heat, and that's generated from compressing the gas. And what we have in a heat pump is a refrigerant which can boil at very low temperatures. So we're using a low-grade heat to boil the refrigerant and then compress it many times and produce heat. And it's that heat which is used to generate heating and hot water in the house. Heat pumps are renewable energy, and they do use electricity to run a heat pump, and we shouldn't forget that. But it uses 1 kilowatt of energy to run it, but will give out 3 to 4 to 5 kilowatts of usable energy. And that's free energy, okay? And that's your carbon saving and also your money saving compared to other technologies. So in real terms, that means a heat pump is around about 300 to 400% efficient, which is great compared to domestic boilers we have in the UK now, which are around about 90% new boilers, condensing boilers, and old boilers, which are over 15-year-old, are only about 60% efficient. Most electricity comes from fossil fuel power stations. The UK government has a commitment to reduce the carbon from electricity generation, and that can be through renewable technologies like wind and wave. If we install heat pumps now in our homes now, as our power production is decarbonised, meaning that we're producing less carbon, it means we're going to get an extra benefit in the years to come because our heat pumps are using less carbon.
Gas central heating controls are an excellent way to monitor the amount of energy that you're using in the home. It is expensive to replace a boiler. If you need to replace a boiler, though, make sure it's an Energy Saving Trust recommended one. They are the most efficient on the market. But by turning your thermostat down, just a degree perhaps, it can make a difference to your energy bill.
At the moment, more people are more interested in the actual cost savings of heat pumps, of other technologies. But there is coming new legislation to change that, to give incentive to the homeowner to change to renewables, so they'll get a cash incentive. And this is similar to which is already existing for solar PV, which will basically work on a tariff. So if you install a heat pump, ground source or air source, or solar panels in your home, you will get a guaranteed income from running the heat pump. There is legislation in the UK for new house builders to build more efficient homes and produce less carbon. And there is legislation to produce carbon neutral homes by 2016. And the only way they're going to manage that, as well as insulating, more insulation, triple glazing, air tightness, is another issue, is making the house as airtight as possible. And then in addition to that is a very efficient way of heating the house and producing hot water, because most of the energy which is used in a home is heating and hot water.
In the UK, energy accounts for 7% of total consumer expenditure. The current trend is a very slight year-on-year decrease thanks to some new technologies and greater efficiency. However, money spent on electricity and gas is rising. Join us after the break to find out more about reducing the money you spend on energy.
EcoFlap, part of a whole letterbox system, is a draft stopper for your existing letterbox. Fitted on the inside of your door, it'll stop drafts but not your mail. Has no springs or brushes, in fact nothing to trap the mail. It uses gravity and any wind to keep shut, and won't blow open even in strong gales. The automatic adjustable opening enables up to a Yellow Pages directory and A4 in width to be delivered, plus retrofits a very small letterbox to just over the standard size. Stop sneaky letterbox drafts filtering through. These not only attack you, but also a nearby thermostat. This'll kick your boiler into action and unnecessarily raise your house temperature, which you'll be paying for. EcoFlap will save you energy costs, fits easily, giving effective immediate benefit at no expense of changing your complete letterbox system.
Tata Steel ColorCoat Urban is an innovative metal standing seam solution for roofs and walls, backed by a British Board of Agreement certified 40-year guarantee and specified on eco homes for those wishing to achieve a high level of sustainability. The quick fit system results in reducing on-site fixing times whilst retaining excellent whole life costs, as you would expect from Tata Steel. And with excellent aesthetics, performance and eco-credentials, ColorCoat Urban really is the sustainable product of choice. ColorCoat Urban have now completed over 100 projects across the UK, ranging from low-pitched flat roof extensions to eco homes and housing estates. Available in a range of colours to meet consumer needs, Tata Steel ColorCoat Urban offer fantastic variety to ensure customer satisfaction, offering a product that appears like many other high-end aesthetics without the prolonged labour costs associated with such aesthetics.
NIBE Energy Systems is Europe's market leader in heat pump technology. We provide high-tech solutions for heating and hot water to ensure a comfortable indoor climate that reflects today's demand for sustainable construction. NIBE's range of new generation heat pumps are our smartest heat pumps ever. The new revolutionary display with user-friendly menu gives you full control over your heating and hot water. You can easily manage your energy consumption to get the best performance out of the heat pump. Installing a NIBE heat pump can lead to a reduction in energy consumption of up to 80% and can also lead to much lower CO2 emissions than a traditional fossil fuel boiler. Moreover, you may be eligible towards a grant for your heat pump installation too. An advanced heat pump for people who like to keep things simple. Thinking of buying a heat pump? Then think NIBE. Please visit www.nibe.co.uk.
Chances to save energy are all around us, in our living rooms, our bedrooms and our kitchens. If every household took the simple and cheap step of replacing 3 light bulbs with energy efficient or LED light bulbs, then the energy saved could power all of the UK's streetlights. Now imagine replacing all of those with LED light systems. The savings could be massive. In 2011, the UK is about to enter a new economic era. The green pound is being spent more regularly and is saving those other pounds from being spent. Companies are being encouraged to develop new technologies and provide the consumer with energy-efficient products that should have long been the standard.
It's rated A+ in the Green Guide. It's very good for water harvesting, for your photovoltaics. It contains 25% recycled steel, and it's also 100% recyclable at the end of its life cycle. When Tata Steel produced ColorCoat Urban, we were looking for it to be a very sustainable product. We wanted it to be built with the environment in mind, with eco-credentials, so we're now very happy with the end product and what that delivers. The great benefit of the product is it's very beneficial in terms of gathering water. So it's been designed to collate the water, direct it down to the gutter using the pitch of the roof. And this water would be classified as grey water. So what that means is that it can be used for flushing toilets, or alternatively it can be used as landscape irrigation. And with regards to solar panels, you can attach the solar panels very simply using a clamp system. And the great benefit of that is that effectively it's future-proof, so you can attach the clamps 5, 10, 15 years down the line, and you can attach the solar panels without any worries whatsoever.
As a manufacturer, it's very important that we have our systems installed correctly. And most people in their homes, when they're looking at new heating systems and hot water, will go to their local plumber. And as a manufacturer, we find it paramount that we've got to train these plumbers to be able to install these systems. But not only install them, but to be able to design them, to be able to size them correctly, so the systems are installed giving the best efficiencies to your home. So we've invested a large amount of money in training installers through colleges, for our own training academies, giving plumbers all the technical ability to be able to install these systems. We make it quite easy for the homeowner to find an installer. On our website they can search for an installer, and by doing that it means that they're going to choose an installer that is properly trained.
It's not just big companies that are helping us all to reduce our energy consumption and costs. Individuals like inventor Richard Jessel are joining the fight to achieve climate change targets in new and innovative ways all the time. Jessel Innovations have a unique approach on improving a typical household item.
I am an inventor. I've invented an EcoFlap, which is a draft sealer for letterboxes. You put it on the inside of the door and cover up the aperture, and leaving all the outside letterbox exactly as it is, no alteration, and this will fully draft proof it. The idea actually came from a time when we had cats and the pet doors were blowing open in the wind, and I got fed up with this, and I just felt sure I could do something which would stop that happening, and that was basically the development of the principle of the EcoFlap. The EcoFlap actually works because in its closed position it's pivoting roughly in the middle, but the closing side is larger in surface area than the bottom side. So when the wind's blowing in this direction, there is more pressure on the larger surface area than on the smaller surface area, so it's pushing it shut. But on the other side of the flap, it's larger at the bottom than the top, so when the wind blows the other way, there's more pressure shutting it that way as well. So it can only rotate that way, and you push in the letter that way. You can get a single sheet and poke it straight through, don't have to touch the letterbox, so you've got no chance of damage or dog bites or cat bites or whatever scratches, you know, and it never blows open. So it's vandal proof because you can't get hold of the flap. You know, it's going to be useful to all these places like housing associations and councils and what have you. It's actually been tested to wind speeds of well over 100 miles an hour, actually 114.7 I believe to be exact, which is 1700 pascals, and then it's also been tested against water pressure as well.
People are definitely more aware of, when buying goods and products and appliances for their homes, people are definitely more aware of their energy consumption. Because yeah, there's the upfront cost of whatever it is you're buying, but then you also need to consider the running costs, and people are more aware of it because electricity and gas prices are just going up and up and up.
EcoFlap would really be of benefit to the typical householder. First of all, it'll stop all the drafts. It will not restrict the mail. It has no brushes, no springs, nothing to damage or impede its passage through the door. It completely stops the draft. Doesn't matter which way the wind's blowing, it will stop that draft. Now, that is energy saving because you're not going to lose the heat inside the house. The letterbox is not going to be left propped open with mail not falls through because of the restrictions. They're left halfway through and the flap is open.
Draft proofing is a very simple way of saving energy in the home. And in fact, the Energy Saving Trust Recommended scheme is endorsing draft proofing material. Traditionally, people would use newspaper to block up gaps in the floorboards, but now there's a very, very simple piece of equipment, very, very simple measure that they can use. Using the Energy Saving Trust recommended draft proofing will help them save even more energy.
A lot of people won't realise that you can actually lose, just through the letterbox alone, or waste up to 27%, I have heard it, of your energy costs through that letterbox leaking. I mean, you know, how many people realise that? Also, on top of the heating that you lose, you can get cold draft through the letterbox onto a thermostat or something which may be in the hall or passageway. This gives false information to the thermostat. The thermostat then tells the heating to turn right up, and you waste all that energy unnecessarily. We've had lots of inquiries from other countries, much colder or extreme temperatures, Canada and all sorts of places, where the EcoFlap actually also enhances when they're doing air conditioning, which they don't want to lose in the summer, so it's got a double whammy. Saving energy. It's now become so important because energy costs so much, and virtually anything you can do to save losing energy is going to be cost effective in the long run. So stopping drafts is one thing. Looking how you're wasting energy, look more deeply into it, because it is costing more, and it's going to be cost effective to actually tackle these points.
In the UK, we use nearly 4,000 units of energy per person every year. This compares rather unfavourably to the global average of just under 1,800. However, we are looking into a new era in the creation of energy, and the future is starting to look a lot more promising.
What people can do obviously at home is they'll be familiar with traditional housing and how they can go into the loft and simply add some glass fibre insulation or what have you to increase the warmth within the home. What becomes a little more tricky is doing it on flat roof extensions, so that's really where Colourcoat Urban will come in. And as mentioned earlier, the installation process would be to kind of put some foam on top of the original felt or whatever it may be, and overboard it, membrane it, and then put Colourcoat Urban on top. This will greatly reduce the draft and increase the warmth and comfort within that part of the building. And it's all for, you know, no more expense than that of felting a roof. So
heat pumps work with weather compensation. They have sensors which are outside and inside, so they're controlling the temperature of your property and giving you a comfortable indoor climate. But before you choose any renewable energy, and especially heat pumps which are using heating and hot water, you should always look at simple things you can do before choosing those. We'd always recommend the simple things: double glazing, cavity wall insulation, loft insulation. By doing those measures first will mean that your house is more insulated. It could mean the heat pump will be smaller, saving you more money, and also to run the system will be a lot less because your house is more insulated.
I know EcoFlap will make a really immediate change in the energy consumption, but we ought to look more at our thought process in everything that we do. But we've got to look at the way we actually live and where we are losing it. You know, from the usual thing of running the tap when you're cleaning your teeth, or just pouring hot water away down the sink, you know what I mean? Whereas if we can recapture that heat and warm up the fresh water coming in, I've got lots of ideas myself on that sort of thing. But, you know, this is where the waste is, and we're paying for that down the drain. So we're working, we're paying our taxes, and then we're spending again, using it on what we're wasting. So, you know, it would benefit ourselves personally and the country if we all started altering the way that we look at the energy that we are using. I would like Jesel Innovations to be seen as innovative, practical, simple, energy saving, and being a benefit to humanity generally.
So it's really important for manufacturers and retailers also to take up the concept of energy saving, because their customers, you and I in our homes, we're demanding it more and more. We want to see these products, and we want to see them at the same price as their alternatives, as their kind of energy wasting alternatives, if you like. So there is more and more demand on manufacturers and retailers to provide us with these products, and really the financial incentives to go and put those into our homes. Otherwise, we're going to start going shopping somewhere else. If you've got a store that isn't offering a deal on energy-saving light bulbs, you're going to go and buy them from somewhere else. It's as simple as that. So it's really important that together we're all working in the same direction on this.
New and unique solutions are needed to save money and save the environment. Around 2/3 of the homes that will be around in 2050 have now been built. This means that improvements will have to be retrofitted. As space heating is the primary use of home energy consumption, that will be the first area to be targeted. Better insulation, efficient boilers and heat management systems can be combined with new user habits to receive encouraging results. The efforts of companies and organisations are vital in causing widespread change in the way Britain uses energy. The Energy Saving Trust works closely with government, regulators and policymakers across the United Kingdom to make efficiency simple for the individual. The real key is increasing energy efficiency and not restricting use. It is here that the individual can bring about real change, not only to their own household bills but in reducing Britain's carbon footprint.